Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I feel very honored to represent my batch F for this particular PBL presentation. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Liaquat Ali for providing this great opportunity of PBL, which is student-centered instructional strategy in which student is actively involved to acquire deeper knowledge through active exploration of problems and challenges. With this PBL, we are able to learn some generic skills like reading skills, writing skills, speaking skills, IT skills, and presenting skills. I would like to present my batch F. First of all, I, Hamad Naeem, as a group leader. Along me, Muhammad Asim, Mamoon Khan, Shoaib Khan, Mujdan Nisar, and Hassan Akbar, Fahad Zaman, Muhammad Salman, Muhammad Ayan, and Awais Arif. Let's have a quick review that what we are going to discuss is gametogenesis, spermatogenesis, oogenesis, mitosis, and meiosis, monozygotic and dizygotic twins. By doing the practices of triggers, we have found the learning objectives. I hope these learning objectives will match the LOs of faculty. The learning objectives are to describe gametogenesis, describe mitosis and meiosis, describe mono and dizygotic twins. For explaining this particular slide of gametogenesis, I would like to engage Muhammad Asim. Muhammad Asim, please unmute your mic and explain gametogenesis.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. My topic is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis, in simple word or in two words, we say that it is formation of gametes. You know, genesis means formation, and gameto means gametes, so it is formation of gametes. Now, moving toward proper definition, the process by which cell undergoes meiosis to form gametes in reproductive part of male, that is testis, and female, that is ovary. It said that the gametogenesis occur in reproductive part of male, that is testis, and in female ovary. And the process by which it takes place is meiosis, not mitosis. You know, these are germ cell, and in germ cell, meiosis takes place as to have half or haploid number of chromosome at the end. So it takes place by meiosis, and it finally divide into two parts, that is spermatogenesis is male and oogenesis in female. Spermatogenesis, it means that sperm is formed, and in oogenesis in female, that is eggs are formed. These two are the gametes which are formed by gametogenesis. That's all from me. Thanks.
Mr. Mamoon, please explain spermatogenesis.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Hamad. The topic spermatogenesis given to me can be divided into three parts: the pre-differentiated form, the spermatid form, and the mature and functional sperm by the process of spermiogenesis. The spermatogenesis is the production of sperm from the primordial germ cells, which are incorporated into sex cords, where they remain until maturity, after which they are being hollowed out. Those sex cords are being hollowed out for the formation of seminiferous tubules and Sertoli cells. The initiation of the spermatogenesis is carried out by BMP8B9, as in the bone morphogenetic protein 8B9. It actually starts the specialization process. Firstly, after reaching the gonads, the primordial germ cells divide to form type A1 spermatogonia, as can be seen in the diagram at the right side of the picture, where the marker is, which have an ovoid-shaped nucleus and are smaller than PGCs. These are stem cells, and they further change into A2 spermatogonia and A3 spermatogonia, which later forms intermediate spermatogonia. As these are stem cell and they increase in number by mitosis, so these intermediate spermatogonia have three options to undergo with: either to perform cell death apoptosis, or form A4 unfunctional type spermatogonia cell, or become the primary spermatocytes, which are to become the future sperms. Primary spermatocytes undergo first meiotic division, forming secondary spermatocytes, which undergo second meiotic division, forming spermatids. Now come the stage of spermiogenesis, because these haploid spermatids are unflagellated round cells so they are non-functional and immature. Firstly, the acrosomal vesicle is formed from Golgi body. Now is the process of spermiogenesis. Firstly, the acrosomal vesicle is formed from Golgi body. The acrosome forms the cap of the sperm nucleus, which faces the basal membrane of the seminiferous tubule as the nucleus rotates for it. Now, this rotation is also important for the flagellum formation from the centriole. Further, the nucleus flattens, condenses, and the remaining cytoplasm oozes out, and mitochondria forms a ring around the base of the flagellum. That's all. Thank you, Hamad.
Shoaib, please explain oogenesis.
Thank you, Hamad. Oogenesis is the process of formation of mature female gamete, that is ovum. This process takes place in ovaries. It consists of three phases, that is multiplication phase, growth phase, and maturation phase. In multiplication phase is also called proliferative phase. In the fetal development, cell in the germinal epithelium of the fetus ovary divide by mitosis, producing oogonia. No more oogonia are formed after birth. Oogonia further undergoes mitotic division, forming primary oocyte. Now in growth phase, the oogonium grows into large primary oocyte. It happens after puberty. This is the longest phase and takes years. In maturation phase, each primary oocyte undergoes first and second meiotic divisions. In first meiotic division, the primary oocyte divides into two very unequally applied daughter cells, that is large secondary oocyte plus small first polar body. In meiosis 2, the first polar body may divide to form two second polar bodies, while secondary oocyte again divide into unequal daughter cells. The bigger one growing into functional ovum, while the smaller turn into polar body. Thank you.
Mujdan Nisar, please explain mitosis.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today, I'll be explaining the process of mitosis. So what is mitosis? Mitosis, it's a process where a parent cell divides into two daughter cells. The two daughter cells are basically genetically identical to the parent cell. The time duration for this process is 70 to 180 minutes. It may vary from human to human. It happens mostly in somatic cells of the human body. So mitosis has four main phases. It's prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. What happens in prophase is that chromatin condenses into chromosomes, nuclear envelope plus nucleolus disappears, centrioles move to the opposite poles of the cell. In metaphase, the chromosomes line up on the equator. In anaphase, the centromeres divide. Each chromosome becomes two sister chromatids. The chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles by the spindle fiber. In the end, the telophase, the chromosomes loosen up. Everything that disappeared in prophase starts to reappear. That's nucleolus and nuclear membrane. And the spindle fibers are degenerated. In the end, the cytokinesis takes place that the cytoplasms divide into two different cells, not different, but same cells, with two cells. It's not the part of mitosis, but it is part of the cell cycle. Thank you.
Hassan, please explain meiosis.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My topic today is meiosis. Meiosis is a special type of cell division which occurs only in germ cells to form gametes. It is also known as reduction division. It consists of two successive cell divisions. At the end of meiotic divisions, four haploid cells are formed. Meiosis contributes to genetic reassortment, which ensures genetic diversity in offspring. Next slide, please. Meiosis is divided into two parts, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Before meiosis 1, replication of nuclear DNA takes place, and meiosis 1 consists of four phases, which are prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. In prophase, the chromosome condenses and nuclear envelopes break down. And in Peki-18 stage of prophase, crossing over occurs in this stage, which takes place at chiasma. Next is metaphase. Formation of meiotic spindle is completed. The bivalent chromosomes pairs gather in the alignment on the center of spindle and forms equatorial plate. It is to be noted that bivalent chromosomes are still attached to each other at the chiasma region. Next phase is anaphase. The chromosome of each homologous pair become completely detached from each other and move to opposite poles of the spindle. And the distribution of chromosome is completely random. And no, unlike mitosis, no division of chromosome occurs here. And next is telophase. In telophase, nuclei are reconstituted, and cytokinesis divided divides to form the two daughter cells. And each daughter cell contain haploid chromosomes, but chromosomes are double-stranded. Thank you very much.
Fahad Zaman, please explain meiosis II.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Hamad. Meiosis II. During meiosis II, the sister chromatids within the two daughter cells separate, forming four new haploid gametes. Meiosis II is just like similar to the mitosis, in which there is no such main difference between meiosis I and meiosis II is that there is no interphase in meiosis II, because interphase is such phase in which cells prepare itself for the cell division. But actually in meiosis, the cell prepare itself, so there is no need of interphase. Just like the meiosis I, the meiosis II is divided into four subphases: the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Prophase, in which the nuclear envelope and the nuclear membrane integrates, and the centrioles move to the opposite sides, and the chromosomes become visible. Next phase, the metaphase, in which the centrioles produce their spindle fibers, which attaches to the chromosomes on each end and their centriole or centrome. Next, we to move to the anaphase, in which the centrioles, through their spindle fiber, attract the each chromatids towards each pole. Telophase, the nuclear envelopes around the each chromatids start developing the nuclear membrane, the nuclear envelope, the cell membrane start invaginates inside, and in this way the four daughter cells are produced. What are the significance of the meiosis? The meiosis are very important because the information that are transferred to their daughter cells are because of the meiosis. As they mentioned earlier, the gametogenesis, the main process for the gametogenesis is meiosis. That is why the meiosis is very important, plays an important role in human life. Thank you, Amar.
Please, Salman, explain monozygotic twins.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ahmad. The topic that I am discussing today with you is the monozygotic twins. In this process, a single egg is fertilized by a single sperm, which then later splits into two zygotes. They are also known as identical twins. They always have the same genes and are of the same sex. It is a rare process which occurs only 3 to 4 times in 1,000. Only one egg is released from the ovary and fertilized by one sperm, but there can still be 3 case scenarios in this process. If the early embryo splits before implantation in the womb, then both the fetuses shall have separate placentas and separate inner sacs. In the second scenario, if the early embryo implants in the womb and then splits, then the fetuses shall have shared placenta and separate inner sacs. In the third case, early embryo implants in the womb and then splits later. In this process, the fetuses shall have the shared placenta and shared inner sacs. Thank you, ma'am.
Please, Ayan, explain dizygotic twins.
Thank you. So the topic is dizygotic twins. These are the other type of twins that we have. These dizygotic twins form from 2 separate eggs fertilized by 2 separate sperms. In most cases, the woman releases a single egg, but in their ovulation cycle, she releases multiple eggs. So they're also known as non-identical twins because they are different from each other in physical features and other stuff. These are the most common type of twins, and these are most common than identical twins. There are several cases of dizygotic twinning, and they do not share their genes, and they are of the different genders most of the time. And they are also called the fraternal twin because it's their other name synonym. They are most common in older mothers with the highest rates found among mothers over the age of 35. This is also affected by environmental factors, and they can have different blood types as well, and they are differently dizygotic. This other diagram shows us how the dizygotic twins are formed. The fertilized eggs goes into the 2-cell stage and then into the single zygote. These are attached on different sides, and they are on different, they have different tier 2 placentas. They can be dizygotic, and both of their placentas are different. They are they form in different placentas. Yes, next.
Okay, it's okay. Please, Awais, explain or sum up the mono and dizygotic twins.
Thank you, Hamad. And this slide shows the main differences between the monozygotic and the dizygotic twins. The first difference is that the monozygotic twins are completely identical to one another. And by identical, we mean that they are same genetically, having same genes, and phenotypically, which means having same appearance. While the dizygotic twins are non-identical, as they are different in both genetic and phenotypic aspect. The second difference is that the monozygotic twins develop together in the same placenta, while the dizygotic twins develops in separate placentas. And the monozygotic twins, fertilization takes place when one ovum is fertilized by a single sperm, and the single ovum differentiates into two. And the dizygotic twins, fertilization occurs as a result of two ovums which are fertilized by two sperms. And as I said, that they are same genetically, so they have the same sex, the monozygotic twins, and same blood group, while the dizygotic twins have different sex and have different blood group. In this picture, as we can see that their physical appearances are same, so they are an example of monozygotic twins. And next. And this is an example of dizygotic twins, as their physical appearances are different, but still they are dizygotic twins.
Okay. So this is the end of our presentation. We tried our best to cover all the learning objectives. And sir, if you have any question, please ask.